Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got a lot to unpack today, especially with how the market continues to show strength, and yes, we're still seeing green across the board. ZBCN in particular continues to make waves. It made a brand new all-time high recently, and now it's just sort of hanging out, consolidating at a higher level, which is often a good sign that more upside could be coming. Disclaimer: the information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and all opinions expressed are my own. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile. Invest only what you can afford to lose. Let's take a quick look at the Fear and Greed Index. Yesterday, sentiment was high. We were sitting at 74 on the greed scale. That's a pretty strong reading, suggesting people were very bullish. But today we've dropped to a 60, which still shows greed but a bit more cautious. It's important to note that we're entering the weekend, which usually sees lower trading volumes. Because of that, we might see this needle shift even further down, maybe even into the neutral zone by tomorrow. But hey, let's see how things develop. Market sentiment can flip quickly, especially with cryptos. That being said, I have a feeling, and let me just say, it's just a feeling, that ZBCN might do something pretty interesting over the weekend. Don't quote me like it's gospel. I know some of you like to keep tabs on every word I say, but really, I'm just here to give my thoughts and observations. So, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's dive into why I believe ZBCN has a strong chance to perform well in the next 24 hours. But before we get into the technicals and the recent price movements, I want you guys to take a look at something very interesting. Every single day, without fail, people are publishing articles and content about Zebec Network. I'm talking about daily coverage. Some posted a day ago, some 2 days ago, some 3 days ago. It's just non-stop. And this isn't random. This kind of coverage usually only happens when a cryptocurrency is gaining serious traction and interest. The fact that we're seeing such consistency in media output tells us one thing: people are paying close attention to ZBCN. Now, not all attention is good attention. Let's be real, there's some FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt out there as well. Some people want to cast doubt or stir controversy, but even that kind of coverage still brings awareness. And in the world of investing, especially in a space like crypto that thrives on hype and speculation, attention, any kind of attention, is a valuable currency. Whether someone is praising it or criticizing it, ZBCN is staying in the headlines. That's not something you can fake. It means people are watching closely. Many of those critics, the FUD spreaders, aren't even doing real research. They latch on to tiny details, take things out of context, and spin up wild stories. For instance, there was this one claim about Zebec CEO Sam Thapalia. Someone made a fuss saying, "Oh, we don't even know his full name, that's a red flag." But come on, a simple search shows plenty of information, including his appearance in Circle's official partnership announcement from back in July 2022. The guy's face is out there, the credentials are public. People just don't dig deep enough. They cherry-pick half facts and then scream conspiracy. Speaking of Circle, yes, that's Circle, the company behind USDC. They have an official partnership with Zebec. That's not just smoke, that's fire, and it adds a massive layer of credibility to the project. If institutions like Circle are comfortable putting their name next to Zebec, then we have to take that seriously. That's institutional validation, and that's not easy to come by. Now let's switch gears for a second and look at another example of how Zebec is increasing its visibility. Recently, there was a video circulating online that showed a ZBCN ad in the UK. Yes, an actual advertisement for Zebec spotted out in public. The post was of a billboard that read, "Zebec Network acquires Science Card Limited." This was news that had only just dropped a day prior, and already it's making physical appearances in the real world. That shows two things. One, the team behind Zebec is proactive in spreading awareness, and two, they're moving fast. This kind of visibility is something we don't see often with altcoins, especially smaller ones. When a project like ZBCN puts up an ad in a major international market, it tells me they are serious about expansion and global recognition. They're not just playing in the digital sandbox, they're stepping into the real world and showing people that this is a brand to watch. For long-term holders like myself, this has been a rewarding journey. We've weathered the ups and downs, but over time, ZBCN has shown incredible growth and resilience. If you're new to the project, just keep in mind that while it recently hit an all-time high, there's always some level of correction after a surge. That's just how markets work. Nothing can rise non-stop forever. There has to be some consolidation, some cooling off before the next leg up. And this pattern? We've seen it before with ZBCN. In fact, that's exactly why I'm optimistic about what might happen in the next 24 hours. Let me explain. ZBCN is currently down about 3%. When I first pulled up the chart earlier today, the price was more or less flat, but just now, it dipped slightly. Market cap is sitting at $473 million, which is a healthy number. Trading volume is up by 22% in the last 24 hours, which is a great sign. It means people are still interested, still trading, and the current price, $5,598. Now let's rewind a bit. This thing rallied hard. We went from around 008s when the market cap was near 75 million, give or take, and it climbed all the way to 007. This happened just yesterday. I made a video around that time and I remember thinking, man, this thing is taking off. It basically hit a new all-time high right after I posted my content. Wild, right? The most recent all-time high was $0.071. And if we take a step back and look at recent behavior, you'll see an interesting pattern. On May 24th, ZBCN reached an all-time high of 0.49. Then came a small correction. On May 25th, it rallied again, another new high at 0.57. Again, a dip followed. Then on May 26th, another peak, 0.071. And now again, we're seeing a small pullback. So what does this suggest? Well, if this pattern continues, and that's a big if, we could be setting up for another push upward within the next 24 hours. History doesn't always repeat itself perfectly, but it often rhymes. And this pattern, this sequence of pump, correct, pump again, is something that smart traders pay close attention to. Of course, let me stress again, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying you should go all in on ZBCN. I'm not screaming from the rooftops that this is your only chance to buy or you'll miss the boat. That's not what this is. I'm just analyzing the recent price action and drawing conclusions based on what's happened before. Also, let's take a look at the indicators. One of the most reliable ones has been bullish since May 19th, and guess what? That bullish momentum signal is still holding strong. The indicator hasn't flipped bearish, which tells us the underlying trend remains intact. As long as sentiment holds and volume doesn't vanish, there's still a chance for another upward move. And think about the broader market too. Bitcoin is slightly down today, hovering around $104,000, and when BTC corrects or consolidates, that often gives altcoins a little room to breathe. Money that exits BTC doesn't always leave crypto, it just rotates into other assets, and ZBCN might just be one of the beneficiaries of that. To sum it all up, ZBCN has been on a tear, hitting new highs, generating buzz, gaining media coverage, and even advertising internationally. It's building real-world partnerships like the one with Circle, and the price action shows a pattern of dips followed by breakouts. Could it happen again? Absolutely. Is it guaranteed? Of course not, but the setup looks promising. That's all for today's video. I hope you found this update useful and insightful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, share the video with fellow crypto enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're building a community here, people who are passionate, informed, and always looking for the next opportunity. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, keep doing your own research. Peace out.